If you have ever found yourself in a situation where you have treated coccidiosis before, strictly followed every dosage instruction provided, invested a significant amount of money into medications, and yet you still ended up losing your chicks, then this information is specifically designed for you. This is for the poultry farmers who are dealing with birds that are currently between the ages of 2 and 6 weeks old. If you are observing that their droppings are beginning to turn a shade of brown or are showing signs of being slightly bloody, you need to take notice. If their feed intake is noticeably dropping and you see some of your chicks standing around looking dull, listless, and displaying ruffled feathers, you must pay extremely close attention to what is being discussed here today. Today, I am going to provide you with a comprehensive guide on how to utilize bitter leaf and garlic as a highly structured early control strategy to combat coccidiosis. More importantly, I'm going to teach you exactly how to identify when this specific herbal strategy will be effective and conversely, when it will not work. This approach is not based on guesswork or trial and error. This is about high-level management. If you are truly serious about the business of raising stronger birds while experiencing fewer losses, you should subscribe now and follow these instructions closely. This platform is dedicated to farmers who are seeking practical, field-tested results rather than just empty noise. Let us work together to fix this issue properly and permanently. A significant majority of poultry farmers mistakenly believe that coccidiosis is merely a drug-related problem that can be solved with a simple bottle of medicine. It is not. In reality, coccidiosis is a timing problem, a moisture problem, and ultimately a management problem. By the time many farmers even realize there is an issue and begin treatment, the parasite has already successfully multiplied thousands of times within the gut of the bird. Coccidiosis is triggered by microscopic parasites belonging to the genus Eimeria. These aggressive parasites invade the delicate intestinal lining of the bird, where they multiply rapidly inside the gut cells. Eventually, they cause those cells to burst open. This cellular destruction is the direct reason why you see blood appearing in the droppings. It is the reason why birds suddenly lose their strength and become weak. Furthermore, it is the reason why feed conversion rates drop significantly, even for the birds that manage to survive the initial outbreak. Now, here is the hard truth that many need to hear. When farmers claim that the drugs they are using are not working, it is not always because the drugs are fake or low quality. Sometimes the issue is drug resistance, but very often the failure is due to late intervention. Coccidiosis progresses through specific stages. In the early stage, you might only notice very subtle signs like slightly brown droppings, a mild sense of dullness in the flock, or a small, barely noticeable drop in appetite. In the moderate stage, the symptoms escalate, and you begin to see visible blood, clear physical weakness, and birds that start isolating themselves from the rest of the flock. By the time the severe stage is reached, birds begin to collapse, heavy bleeding becomes apparent, and mortality rates rise with alarming speed. Herbal support is most effective when applied during the early stage. Once your birds are collapsing and bleeding heavily, you have moved past the point of herbal intervention and require emergency veterinary drugs. Your timing is what ultimately determines your success. Let us delve into the specifics of bitter leaf. Known scientifically as Vernonia amygdalina, bitter leaf contains natural chemical compounds that possess potent anti-protozoal properties. To put it in simple terms, bitter leaf works by creating an environment within the bird's gut that is extremely hostile to parasites. It assists in reducing inflammation throughout the intestinal tract and acts to slow down the rate at which parasites can multiply. It is vital that you understand this clearly. Bitter leaf does not act as a magic wand that instantly eliminates every single parasite in the body. Instead, what it does is reduce the overall parasite pressure to a level that is manageable enough for the bird's own immune system to begin fighting back effectively. That specific slowing effect can be the deciding factor between a full recovery and a total loss, provided that you act early enough. However, many farmers make critical mistakes when using this herb. Some use far too much, operating under the false assumption that a stronger concentration is always better. In reality, excessive bitterness in the water will cause the birds to reduce their water intake. When birds drink less, they become dehydrated, which only serves to increase their physical weakness. Other farmers wait until it is far too late to start the treatment, expecting herbs to somehow reverse severe internal damage that has already occurred. You must use it moderately, you must use it early, and you must use it correctly. Now let us discuss the addition of garlic to this strategy. Garlic, or Allium sativum, contains a powerful and well-known compound called allicin. Allicin is recognized for its antimicrobial and immune-supporting properties. During an outbreak of coccidiosis, the lining of the gut becomes physically damaged. When this protective barrier is compromised, harmful bacteria can easily enter the system and begin to multiply. It is a fact that many birds do not actually die directly from the Coccidia parasite itself. Rather, they succumb to secondary bacterial infections that follow the initial damage. Garlic is instrumental in helping to reduce this bacterial pressure. It supports healthy blood circulation, stimulates the bird's appetite, and strengthens the overall immune response during periods of high stress. But once again, many farmers get the application of garlic wrong. Some will crush the garlic and mix it into the water immediately without allowing for the necessary time for the allicin to activate. Others will overload the mixture, making the water so strong and pungent that the birds refuse to drink it. To do this right, you must crush the garlic thoroughly and allow it to sit and activate briefly before mixing it into the water. Always use moderate amounts to ensure the birds continue to hydrate. This is where the strategy truly becomes a powerful tool for your farm. Bitter leaf works to slow down the multiplication of the parasites, while garlic works to reduce the risk of secondary infections and supports the overall recovery process. When used together, they form a layered support system for the bird. It is important to remember that this is not a miracle cure. It is a calculated control strategy. Let us go over the preparation steps. You will need 1 full handful of fresh bitter leaf, 3 to 5 medium-sized garlic cloves, and 1 liter of clean water. First, wash the bitter leaf lightly, being careful not to squeeze out all of the beneficial juice prematurely. Next, crush the garlic cloves thoroughly. You can then blend or pound both the leaves and the garlic together. Soak this resulting mixture in 1 liter of clean water. Strain the liquid lightly, but do not overfilter it, as you want to retain the essential compounds. You must prepare this mixture fresh every single day. Do not attempt to store it for several days, as the potency of the natural compounds will reduce over time. Use this mixture as the only source of drinking water for the birds during the treatment period. Administer it once daily for a maximum of 2 to 3 days. Do not exceed this duration, as overuse can cause stress to the birds and lead to a reduction in water intake. Observe your birds very closely during this time. Within 48 hours, you should begin to see signs of stabilization if you acted early enough. You will notice that their appetite improves, their activity levels increase, and their droppings gradually begin to normalize. If you do not see any improvement within this time frame, you must reassess the situation immediately. Listen very carefully to this next part, as it is crucial for the safety of your flock. Do not use this herbal method if your birds are already collapsing, if there is heavy and visible blood loss, or if the mortality rate is rising rapidly. At that advanced stage, you must pivot and use proper veterinary anticoccidial drugs immediately. Herbs are tools for the early stages of the disease, whereas drugs are tools for emergency situations. Serious and successful farmers understand the clear difference between these two scenarios. Now let us talk about the financial aspect. Repeatedly relying on drug treatments increases your overall cost per bird. When parasites build up a resistance to these drugs, farmers are forced to repeat treatment cycles, which causes profit margins to shrink. For small-scale farmers in particular, this can become a very dangerous financial situation. Bitter leaf and garlic are often available locally and at a very low cost. Using them strategically for early-stage cases reduces your dependency on expensive emergency treatments. Fewer emergencies mean better profit margins for your business. However, none of these strategies will work if your poultry pen is dirty. Coccidia parasites spread through droppings, particularly in wet litter. Moisture provides the perfect environment for these parasites to multiply. If the litter remains wet, especially under the drinkers, outbreaks will continue to return regardless of what treatment you use. Many farmers make the mistake of treating the birds while completely ignoring the state of the litter. They reuse wet bedding, they allow the pens to become overcrowded, and they permit drinkers to leak. To be successful, you must keep the litter dry, stir it daily, remove any wet patches immediately, improve the ventilation in the pen, and avoid water spillage. Reducing overcrowding is also essential. No treatment, whether herbal or pharmaceutical, can work consistently in a dirty environment. Prevention is always significantly cheaper than treatment. Let us recap the entire process clearly so there is no confusion. You need 1 handful of fresh bitter leaf and 3 to 5 garlic cloves mixed into 1 liter of clean water. Lightly wash the leaves, crush the garlic thoroughly, and blend them together. Soak the mixture and strain it lightly. Always use a fresh preparation and administer it once daily for a maximum of 2 to 3 days. Monitor your flock closely and act at the very first sign of trouble. Remember this fundamental shift in mindset. You are not just reacting to a disease. You are building a resilient and controlled system. Serious poultry farmers do not wait for their birds to start dying before they decide to learn. They observe their birds daily, they act early, they understand the different stages of disease, and they use the right tool at the right time. Bitter leaf and garlic are not magic. Your management is the real advantage. If this information has helped you see coccidiosis in a different light, please share it with another poultry farmer who might be struggling and claiming that their drugs are not working. If this deep dive into natural poultry management has changed the way you look at the resources available in your own environment, then subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are dedicated to uncovering the practical strategies and historical wisdom that often get overlooked in modern farming. We are here to help you cultivate a more resilient and profitable future for your farm. The next treasury of farming insights will be open very soon. Stay tuned and keep building control.